Hey guys, it's Leslie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. My name is Leslie and I'm super excited that you're here joining me today. We are going to be talking about something that's very raw and realistic in motherhood. I typically get asked, how do I do it with two little kids by myself? And so we are pretty much going to be answering all of those questions in this video with the real, raw, unfiltered answers of how am I surviving motherhood as a solo parenting mama of two littles. If y'all want to keep watching, then please enjoy. So I do want to preface that this is not the first time that me and my son have been separate from my husband. And so that backstory is when my husband was in basic training for the military, he was away for 6 months. Although we did get to see him 3 times during his basic training, this was for two of his ceremonies. And then for winter break, he was able to come back home and visit us. We were still technically separate for the 6 months. And although me and my son were living with my parents and my siblings, and I did have them living with me and helping me and supporting me, we were without my husband for those 6 months. Now, fast forward, here we are living in a completely different state, and we have no friends, no family around. My husband is now on his deployment for the military for 6 months once again. And instead of it being just me and my son, it is now me, my son, and my daughter. So this is my life. I am a momentarily solo parenting mama of two littles whose husband is currently on deployment for the military. And so I feel like because me and my son have already been separate from my husband for some time, I kind of took some of that knowledge out of the back and brought it to the front. So it is definitely not new grounds that we are in. That was a long story. But pretty much, we've been away from my husband for 6 months already. Now we are away from my husband 6 months once again. And so this is just part of our lifestyle. This is just how it is with my husband being in the military and with us being a military family, me being a military spouse. And that's pretty much it. That's the background for this whole video. Again, I will also add on to that is where we're at now. It did not happen overnight. Let me tell you, we are still separated from my husband. We're actually now going on 5 months away from being from my husband. And we still have about 1 more month left to go, hopefully shorter. But it was not overnight. It was not even within days or weeks. It literally is still taking us to this day to still get through each and every single day being a solo parent of two little kids. And just as much as I'm learning and I'm figuring things out, it's the same for both of my kids individually. And so, again, this is just my experience for my circumstances and for my life and for my situation. And so, I just wanted to come on here and just have a real, raw, unfiltered talk with you guys, because I know sometimes social media can just make it put out as like, oh, everything is just so picture perfect with the white picket fence, families all happy, all of that beautiful picture fantasy things. Although, yes, there can be moments like that, but most definitely there is more that happens behind closed doors. And that's just what I wanted to talk to you guys about, everything that genuinely goes on in how we survive every single day during this phase of our lives. So, this is literally going to be in no particular order, but let's start with number one. And that is, I feel that I am a seasoned type A mom where I like to kind of have a routine, kind of have a schedule, a groove. And so, because of that, I was literally able to create a daily nighttime routine with my kids. And so, I feel that having a strong nighttime routine really does set me up for success because if I'm able to get the kids to wind down, have their shower time, be in bed by a certain time, everything else just kind of falls into place. And so I've noticed with this routine and with this schedule, we're all already like registered into how the nighttime is going to go. And just so our brain and our bodies are already used to it as well. And so once it hits to, okay, the routine is starting or we're already in the routine, I can already see it in the kids like, okay, this is our nighttime routine. This is what's going to happen. And then eventually I'm going to go to sleep in my bed and that's going to be the end of the night. And so just for works for us is that I bathe my daughter and I shower her first. And while I'm bathing my daughter, I have my son by himself downstairs and I have a movie on for him. What I will do while I'm bathing my daughter, just for safety purposes, is I have a baby camera in my living room. And so I have the screen with me upstairs and I have the volume up, I have the screen on. And so I'm still monitoring him and making sure that he's okay downstairs while I'm also still showering my daughter and making sure that she's getting clean and making sure that she's also safe and all of that fun stuff. And so I shower her, and now I actually don't nurse her to sleep. It's now rare when I nurse her to sleep. When we were first separated from my husband, I would have to nurse her to sleep, and that's just because she was a lot younger. Now she's older and she's more healthier. I do not nurse her to sleep, but when I'm done bathing her, I lay her now in her own bed again because now she's much older and for safety sleep, she's sleeping in her own bed, um, falling asleep in her own bed, and she is really, really well in self soothing. And so she self soothes. I have the room and everything set up for her. Once I'm done with her, I now come back downstairs. I turn the movie off for my son. We go upstairs and I bathe him and I put him down for bed. And that'll be his whole routine. And so my daughter, she's already asleep in my room. The door is closed. She's got the white noise on, the dim light. She's already set for bed. She is already putting herself to sleep and then eventually puts herself to sleep. Uh, and that is all happening while I'm focusing in on my son. And so, since we're all in the same floor, I know that I can just easily keep an ear out for my daughter and just listen if she's okay or if she is screaming, crying, throwing up, whatever, I can just easily listen out for her. And once my son, he's already in bed, same thing. I got the white noise, the dim light. He sleeps in his own room, in his own toddler bed. And so that is pretty much our bedtime routine. I do have a more thorough come with us for our daily nighttime routine. If y'all want to see that, it is up on my YouTube channel. So you can go ahead and check out the video after you're done watching this one. And then from there, that's pretty much it. And it'll be up to me if I want to do a morning shower or a night shower. Honestly, though, as of like the past couple of days that you are literally watching this, I have actually been taking morning showers, which is different because for a very, very, very long time, I was strictly taking night showers, but now I'm taking morning showers. So long story short, before I used to take night showers, and so I would shower my daughter, put her to bed, shower my son, put him to bed, and then I would shower myself and put myself to bed. Now, I am now taking morning showers because we recently got a new water heater. And so the hot water doesn't last very long. And because both of my kids shower at night and I also wash dishes at night, there's no hot water by the time I want to take a shower at the nighttime, realistically. And I do not want to take even the slightest bit of cold shower. And so I have now made the sacrifice of waking up a little bit earlier than the kids and I take a morning shower. And so that's what I've been doing the past couple of days. That is a whole new thing within itself, but I don't want to get too much deep into that because like I said, it's literally been just a couple of days and so I don't want to tell you all the things because I'm still trying to figure out all the things, but that's pretty much our nighttime daily routine schedule for my two kids. Okay, second is feeding times. At first, I would try and feed both of my kids at the same time, meaning I would feed my daughter her puree and her snacks at the table while my son was also eating his own food here at the table. And I felt that it was more overstimulating. Both kids would need me at the exact same time. And it was just really hard for me to be fully focused in on one kid because the other kid also needed me for something else. And so now what I'm doing is I am actually feeding my kids at different times, but it's still within reasonable hour, of course. And so now what I do is I'll actually feed my daughter first and then feed my son. And that's just because with my daughter, I am still feeding her. She has not fully yet started baby led weaning. She does feed herself snacks, but in terms of her baby puree, I'm still feeding that to her. And because it's just a little bit more of the she's not ready for baby led weaning, but also too for time management, it is a little bit faster if I just feed her. And so I'll feed her the baby puree. And when she's done, she's still going to have a snack because she's a very, very healthy girl. And so I'll give her the snack and she's still in her high chair. And then I'll bring my son to the table and he'll be eating. So, like that, my daughter, she's still eating alongside with my son, but it's not like the full meal that they're both eating at the same time. Because also with that, too, I would realize that if I wanted to feed both of my kids at the same time, then I would have to have both of my kids wait until I was done making my son's food. And that's because for my daughter, I meal prep all of her baby food, and her baby food, she's always going to have something, and something is always going to be ready in the fridge for her. And I could just easily take it out, put it in a bowl, and feed it to her, as opposed to my son, where I have to make him the eggs, or I have to make him the waffles, or I have to make him the peanut butter jelly sandwich. It's not just already ready for me to serve him. And so I just realized too that my daughter would get hangry and she would end up getting upset and she wouldn't really be all into the food by the time I got to feeding her. And so now I just feed her. Then I'll set her up for some snacks. I'll make my son's food and then I'll sit him down. And by that time, my daughter, she's still having her snacks or she's already moved on to some water, just playing with the bottle, or just playing with some toys in her high chair. And that's pretty much what I have came to realize during the time that we've been apart from my husband. And that's perfectly okay because what was working at that time period was working for that time in my kids' age and just the phase that we were in. And now that we've been several months already without my husband, this is now just the new norm for us. And that's also okay. Number three is having planned what we are going to be eating for that week. Because let's be honest, if we try and meal plan for a whole month, sometimes that can get overwhelming. And because we get paid off of a bi weekly basis, I find it easier if I meal prep for a week because, like that, I have one paycheck covering for 2 weeks. And so when I go to the grocery store, I just buy groceries for 2 weeks worth. And so with the meal planning, I buy the groceries that I'm gonna make for those 2 weeks. And even though it is just me and my son eating for like the full course meals, I do find it a lot easier when we have food already in the fridge, ready to eat, and all that it needs to be done is warmed up, served, and there it is. And so it's just really nice to know that we already have food in the home. Two, we already have something that's cooked, and all I need to do is just warm it up, put it in the plate, and there we go. And also, it saves so much time, energy, stress, frustration, and all of the above of constantly making fresh food in the kitchen with two little kids. And yes, meal prepping for a whole week's worth, it can take a lot of time, energy, thought, and all of that stuff, but just the sacrifice of 1 hour or one day, if you want to spread it out, to save you for the rest of that week, it definitely does pay out. And so the way how I like to do it is I like to do 2 meals and we will interchangeably have that for lunch and dinner. And so just for example, I will do one big pack of ground beef and I'll split that down the middle and I can do one half for spaghetti and then the other half can be for tostadas with beans. And so that's just an example of what I would use the ground beef for. And so just for that, I have two separate meals that I can keep warming up and I can interchangeably have them. And so that literally goes the same for my snacks. AKA my fruits and whatever homemade snacks that I make, like muffins, for example. And so I will do this all in the same day. Like I'll have my fruits already washed, cut, and prepped for us to just put in a serving, and there we go. It's ready to eat. Or same for like homemade snacks like protein balls or muffins. I'll also make those in a decent batch, and me and my son can share them for snacks on the go, whether it be here in the home or when we're out of the house. But of course, we do also purchase snacks from the store that come in their own individual packages. So we're also those kind of girlies too. And so it's just really nice to plan it out week per week on what you're going to eat for your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, and even for your snacks and your drinks. Because, like I said, let's be honest, prepping for a whole 2 weeks worth or a whole month's worth, that can definitely get overwhelming, especially in my situation. Number four is setting realistic daily household goals for myself. Because I am the only adult, I am literally the only maid, chef, cook, everything and anything. I'm literally that. And so setting daily realistic goals for myself really can make a difference, because if I overload my plate, then I'm going to feel like a failure when I don't get it done. Or I'm going to push myself to my limits to make sure that everything gets done. But then I'm overstimulated. I didn't pay too much attention to the kids. I'm exhausted. I don't feel like showering. And so, preventing either or from happening, I set very realistic daily goals for myself. And so, with that being said, that means cleaning of the home and laundry. Even though it is just me and my two kids living in this home, I still need to clean it. I still need to do the tidying and all of this stuff, because I am the only adult and my house still needs maintenance. And so, what I'll do is I will give myself about an average of 5 days. So, Monday through Friday. Sometimes I'll even do like a 6 day, just depending on if I was out or if I was home. But pretty much we'll just focus on the 5 days. Okay. And so, just because of my home size and everything, this is what I'll do. Monday, I will do one full bathroom. On Tuesdays, I will do one full bedroom. On Wednesdays, I will do the kitchen. On Thursdays, I will do the second bathroom. And then on Fridays, I will do the living room. And then on that extra day, depending on if I was home or not, then I will designate it to my half bathroom and my floors. And then moving on to the laundry, I actually don't have a set schedule for when I do laundry. I pretty much just, as soon as our bin gets full and it's enough for me to do a large load into the wash, I will throw it in the wash. And because we are all literally using different soaps, because I'm an adult, I use adult soap. My son, he has like eczema, and so I have his own laundry soap. And then my daughter, because she's a baby and she has the most sensitive, delicate skin, she has her own soap. And so, just depending on how busy I am during that day, I will do just one load or multiple loads. But also, on top of that, I am also washing our blankets, which is my bed blankets, my son's blankets, and my daughter's blankets. And so, pretty much laundry, I just kind of go with the flow of it. And like I said, I just wait until the bin is full and then I throw it in the washer. And so, that it just kind of varies throughout the week. And I would much rather prefer doing one load of laundry a day rather than just having one full laundry day. That's just me personally, what I choose. But that's what works for me. Number five is staying busy. I'm the type of person that for the longest, have always been busy. I have always had something going on, whether it be in high school, I was in sports and extracurriculars, or when I was in college and I was also working. And now, as a mother, I am out going to the park, going on walks, going to appointments, doing grocery stores. I am constantly doing something. And so I feel that keeping busy keeps my mind going and my body going, because once I stop and I have a moment to really just like sit down and relax and take it in, that's when I feel that my body is tired. And as a mom of two littles who is momentarily solo parenting, I cannot afford to have those moments because I'm the only parent and I have two kids that need me most of the day. And so if I just stay busy the whole day from when they're awake up until they're asleep, by the time they're asleep, I can finally relax. And once it gets to that time, I can go to sleep and rest and peacefully relax. So, to add on to being busy, I don't mean like overloading my plate with house chores. I mean being busy in pretty much having an agenda or a plan of the day. And so, alongside with having realistic daily household chores for me to do that I will accomplish because, like I said, they're realistic. I'm going to have some goals for getting out of the house as well. And I'm not saying I'm going to be out all day. I'm going to be out and I'm going to get some sunshine. I'm going to get some fresh air and I'm going to get a little bit of social interaction because let's face it, I am one lonely adult and I do need other adult social interaction. I do need that sunshine and I do need that breath of fresh air. And so that can mean multiple things, right? It can depend on whatever you're into. Me personally, because of where we live, we often go to the park, playground, whatever you want to call it. We go on walks or we go to the grocery store. And that's a okay with us. Those are typically our usual go-to things. But of course, on those instances where we have appointments, whether it be just like doctor's appointments, office visits, appointments, whatever it may be, that is also us getting out of the house and doing X, Y, and Z. And so having those things able to do regularly really does helps us because well, I already mentioned for my benefit, but also for my kids. Their kids, they need to also get out of the house. They also need that sunshine, that breath of fresh air, and they also need that social interaction with other people other than their sibling and their mom. But this leads into my next tip, and that is number six, also learning how to be okay with staying at home. Although it is awesome to get out of the house for those reasons that we already talked about, it is also great to stay at home and understand how the family functions when we stay home because reality is sometimes the weather is not going to let us get out of the home, whether it be that there's a rainstorm or a tornado, or it's just not a good day because the kids are sick or I am sick. So, learning how the family functions when we stay home and learning to cope with that and make that day be okay is also very important because I used to think that I always needed to be out of the house. Um, to be okay and to function. But once I realized that, hey, I can also be okay and I can also function while being at home and being in four walls, that is also going to be okay. And so, with that being said, just figuring out what entertains your kids, what are the cues of your kids need rest, what are the cues of your kids are hungry and thirsty, that is also that time to really figure out those more minuscule things. And so staying at home has taught me what high stimulating activities are, what low stimulating activities are, when is my kids' sweet spots for their nap times, when is the sweet spot for having our meals throughout the day. It really does tell you more about their individual just basic needs when you're staying home with the kids. And so, although most of the time we'll get out of the house and we'll do those X, Y, and Z things, we also stay at home and we also just enjoy our home time. And so, it was pretty hard for me to adjust to that and adapt to that. But now I'm so glad that I've learned that it is okay to stay at home and it is okay to be in the four walls and it is okay to be just by yourself, literally all day with your kids. And last but not least, number seven is having my me time and my work time every single day when my kids are sleeping. It is very important for me as a mother, as a momentarily solo parent, and just as a woman in general, and a postpartum mom at that, to still have my me time. And with that, it does also mean that I have my work time, aka my social media, my content creating time during that same time. But point of the story is I have my designated uninterrupted me time slash work time when my kids are sleeping, because let's be honest, it is very, very difficult to get my me time or any work done while my kids are awake. I am able sometimes to have some work time when my kids are awake, but it is honestly no more than like a good 10 minutes at a time, because other than that, I'm like doing a little bit here, doing a little bit there when my kids are awake. But for me to do it like for a long period of time or to get enough productive work done, that is most likely going to be when my kids are sleeping. And with that being said, my self care time, my shaving or my oiling or my baths, that'll all be done when my kids are sleeping. And this will be kind of centered around my shower routine. And so like I said, I was doing nighttime routine. And so that's when my self care time and my work time would just all be together. After I was done showering, I would do my self care, then my work time, then I would go to bed. And as of lately, like I mentioned, I am actually doing morning showers now. And so that's a little bit different. And I'm trying to figure that out. But for, most of the time's sake that my husband has been gone, that's what I've been doing. And so I just wanted to share that with y'all. And so it is also very important to have my me time, because at the end of the day, I'm still just a woman and I still have my own wants and my own needs that also deserve to be met. And just as much as I'm taking care of two little children, I also need to take care of myself, even more for the fact that I am momentarily solo parenting to two little kids. And so I did do a whole video about self care as a mama. And if y'all want to see that video, then that is also up on my YouTube channel. So you can go ahead and check out this video after you're done with this one. So, in sum, that is pretty much how I am surviving day by day as a momentarily solo parent of two little kids whose husband is currently on deployment. And with that being said, that is going to be it for this video. I appreciate you guys so, so much if you made it to the very end. If you like this video, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel to support me on my journey here. And real quick, I just want to give a shout out to my sister Clarissa, because I was telling her that I had not yet filmed this week's video, and it's literally a couple days prior of you guys watching this video, because I am uploading my videos every Sunday. I'm trying to have it every Sunday, and I'm really trying to be consistent with that. And I was telling my sister Clarissa, like, I still have not yet filmed my video, edited, and it is not ready at all for me to post in literally a couple of days for Sunday. And she was like, just film it today. And I'm like, well, the thing is, I only really have when the kids are sleeping for me to film. And that is either I wake up extra early to film, but then it's going to be noticeable that I just woke up, because like I'm going to have the morning voice. My face is going to be all puffy and like in the process of defrosting and depuffing. Or I will have to do it when the kids go down for bed. And at that point, you guys are going to notice that I'm tired and I literally survived a whole day of being a mom and just mothering things. And she was like, well, that's the whole point. The point is for you to show the real, raw, and unfiltered realities of being a mom and being a content creator, and you're just literally sharing your truth. And I'm like, you know what, girl, you're absolutely right. Why am I going to be putting on a face and pretending that, I didn't have to get through X, Y, and Z to film this video when this is my reality? The reality is I started this video when only my son was awake, because I already had put my daughter to bed. And I'm finishing this video off now with both of my kids now being in bed. And I am filming this as we speak downstairs with both of my kids in their bedrooms sleeping upstairs. So yeah, shout out to my sister for pushing me to film this video today. So like that I can now edit it and post it for y'all upcoming Sunday. But anywho, enough of that being said, I really appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel to support me on my journey here. If y'all like my content and want to see more of my content, then please follow me on my other social media platforms. My username is lesliedelaylah on all social media platforms. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.